Enjoy the journey beyond. Love
Hello.
it.
I know. I absolutely love it. I can never get tired of it. How's
Ah,
everyone doing
great.
today?
I hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing good and good. Unfortunately, Nate is having technical difficulties on his end to come into the podcast. So we may very well have to reschedule with him. I'm very sorry about that. I mean, but we will definitely have him back on because I do want to have him, I do want to interview him.
Yes,
So,
gonna figure out what the heck is going on and
yeah,
straighten it
yeah,
out. How
yeah.
is everybody? Let's see
How
who's
is
who's
everybody
with us.
doing?
We got Janelle, or yeah, Giselle. We've got Pomp. We've got Steph. Let's see who else has popped in with us.
Ryan, I loved your videos. He's up my way. Well, not really up my way. He's in the Bridgewater Triangle.
Right,
But
I seen that.
unfortunately, because of my work in the podcast, I tell him I meet up with him the next time. But
Oh, that's yeah.
interesting.
That would have been
Interesting,
fun.
Ryan. Oh,
Hey,
you're playing in the
Roger.
woods? That's right. He was going to do another one today. That's
Oh,
right.
okay. Something to look forward to. That's
Ooh,
great.
really
Hey,
interesting.
Lisa, how's it going? Oh, there he
Oh, I
is.
think he's here.
He figured it out.
Yes. So he's actually backstage right now. That is awesome.
See,
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah, we've
Um,
got. Well,
yeah, who
finish.
else do
I'll
we
say.
have?
Let's see. We got Nate. We've got Raven. We've got. Let's see. Let's see. I think I captured everybody. If not, guys, just give a shout out again. Thank goodness our guest made it. Wonderful, Lisa. I'm glad you
Yes.
could join us.
Yes. So what's going on with you, Laura? Anything?
Just trying to get all the stuff. I was having issues with my store that I had put up.
Oh, yeah.
So I ditched them and I started up a new one. So I've got that all up and running and everything's on there. So, if everybody wants to go check out this, it has better choices too, which I
Yes, I
love.
love it. We both have
So,
the same shop and
uh,
they're awesome.
yeah, they give you just so many better choices to pick from.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
hopefully everybody will like the stuff.
Love it.
So
I love the lipstick. I have to say I love the lips the best.
yeah. Well, yeah, because everybody was, always talking about me and my lipsticks,
And
which
your red lipstick.
that was just the best thing to put out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I have some good news really quick. Actually, Crip Walka is actually almost done with episode 3.
All right.
So we want to check that out. We're probably going to have a premiere soon. But yeah, this one's definitely, it's like every single one gets better and better. And I'm so excited about this one. So I'm happy for it.
Yeah, they're all great. I really enjoy them. I hope everybody's got a chance to check them out.
Yes. And they're not that long either.
Right.
So it doesn't take too long to view it. So
Did you also want to mention about that you're thinking about doing a mini documentary so that people understands what this mini series is about?
yes. Well, I didn't tell you, Laura, but I may conclude you too.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
But so
Does I have to put my acting cap on?
So what I've been getting, so actually, what we were talking about, Crip Walker and I was talking about is that a lot of people that don't know me don't understand, that it's based on a true story, the miniseries that I have, the Darkwood Hauntings. So what I was actually going to do is actually try to make a documentary and actually go to my hometown where this all started and show people the house. As a matter of fact, I was just there the other day with my mom, where the house took place. In episode 3, there's a little bit of bullying going on. I won't tell much more. But I'm going to kind of like take a walk path from my grammar school where the bullying happened and then to my actual house.
Right.
Just so everybody could just see, my story and actually where I grew up. I think it would be very interesting.
Right. Well, I think it would actually just, and also shed a light on what you're already doing and putting out there, that it is real and it's not a scripted story.
Yeah, definitely. So that's in the mist. I don't know. I'm not too familiar on how to create documentaries, so I'm doing some more research on it. But I definitely want to do that in the future. So
great.
So yeah.
Great. What else has been going on? Not much?
Oh, not much at all. Just working this weekend. And then next weekend we have the 2-year anniversary of this podcast.
Yeah,
So
that's
yes,
nice.
I am going to drink Kavik coffee. Yes.
Yuck.
I am gonna drink poof coffee. Yes.
The poop coffee's coming. So all the shit jokes,
Coffee.
come on, pull them all out, get them
Yep.
ready.
So if anybody else has any fun ideas they want to do, or even if you want to jump on, feel free. We'll send you a link. It's kind of like a happy time to celebrate.
She might even send you a cup of coffee. I'm not drinking it. I'm not.
Yeah. If you see me going
anything that involves shit is not going in my mouth. I'm sorry.
It's supposed to be very good for thy digestive system.
Yeah, okay, sure, I believe that one.
But moving on, when do we bring on our guest?
All right, I'm just gonna say I just don't believe that shit, Susan. I'm sorry.
So we're gonna bring on
With
Nate.
that.
Nate is a paranormal researcher, as well as he is the host of his podcast, Paranormal Unveiled. So let's bring him on. Hello. You figured it out. You figured it out.
Yeah, so I don't know what was going on, but for some reason, when I was using the actual, like the StreamYard app and it kept trying to have me connect to it, it was because I didn't have Google Chrome installed on my phone is what it was.
Oh, got you.
Okay.
Because I never used Google Chrome, so I just uninstalled it years ago.
Oh, all right. That's really weird.
So that's what happened, because as soon as I opened it up in Chrome, I had no issues.
Okay.
But also, the Civet coffee, it's amazing. I've had it.
See, Laura.
No.
I'm gonna try it.
It was literally one of the best cups of coffee I've ever had. I didn't have to add sugar to it or anything.
I'm excited now.
So I'm not a fan of coffee. I only drink it because it's something warm to drink. And then the idea of the process, I'm sorry, it's a big turnoff. So
Well, you got to remember though, whenever they go to pick it up for processing, right? It's still within the shell of the coffee bean itself, so they still have to unshell it still.
That's not going to help.
Laura's like, no, regardless.
Not going to help. You know, if Juan Valdez donkey ate the beans and shit them out, I wouldn't drink that either. So
it's expensive coffee, guys. but it is absolutely great.
I only got 2 cups. Now I have to probably get more if I like it.
Yeah,
I have no doubt you will.
See, Laura, see.
Okay,
you guys. I am a coffee guy. Like that's pretty much what I drink 24/7. If I'm not having beer, I'm drinking coffee.
Oh, enjoy.
She's like, all done. I'm all done.
Yeah, no.
So Nate, if everybody doesn't know you, tell us a little bit something about yourself.
Okay, so let's see. Where do I start? Because there's
I don't know.
There's a lot.
Start at the beginning. We have time.
So
let's see. I was born in 19. No, just kidding.
I mean, I could go back that far.
That's okay.
But no, I've been doing paranormal work for a little bit over 18 years. It was actually 18 years as of July 6th of this year. So I've been doing it for a very long time. I call myself a paranormal researcher because I don't just focus on ghosts. I look into UFOs, I look into cryptids, I look into every aspect of anything that is unexplained because that's what a paranormal researcher should do. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people get the confusion of if you call yourself a paranormal researcher, you just deal with ghosts. That's not the case. A paranormal investigator typically will investigate the claims of spirits more often than not, because they leave the cryptids and stuff up to the people who call themselves cryptozoologists. The UFOs are the people who call themselves ufologists. So, I mean, there's different sects, just like there's different sects of religion. So a lot of people get that little bit of a confusion going on there. And on top of that, I have a TikTok channel where people share videos to me, or I go and find videos that are paranormal in nature, or they look it. And then I go through, I still frame the video and then make it to where I can offer an alternative natural explanation for what could be occurring in said video. And if I can recreate it, I do so. Obviously the recreations, they're not exact, but they're close enough to show that my standpoint on what I'm saying could very well be plausible. But it's always just my opinion. People are going to believe whatever they want to believe. I also have a YouTube channel where I download and test paranormal applications, and I tell people whether or not I believe they can work for a paranormal investigative setting. I have a book on that coming out soon. hopefully by the end of 2025, that's called Downloading for the Dead, Investigating Paranormal Applications. So that should be coming out soon. On top of that, I am also the host of the Paranormal Unveiled podcast, and I am a public speaker. I've been going to many events this year. I've got 3 more still coming up this year. I think 1 in Massachusetts, 1 in Maine, and I think there's another one. I've got to look at my calendar. I literally just got back from Wisconsin at the beginning of the month. That was fun.
Wow, busy.
I know.
Fantastic.
I know. I love the one that you did. The ghost saved my cat.
Oh God. that one
was a good.
So that one, it looked convincing at first, and then once you actually start, and here's what people don't understand is when you go through and you still frame this stuff, that is where you notice everything that I notice. If you're watching at full speed, there's a lot of stuff you're gonna miss. So whenever I download the video and I go through painstakingly, frame by frame, and I'm looking for minor things, I'm looking for, say, the shine off a monofilament fishing line. I'm looking for slight film cuts where, say, they stopped the film and restarted, but they didn't put the camera back in the exact positioning. So I see that in a lot of videos, and that tells me I don't know how long that camera was paused for. So whatever was occurring within that said time frame, they very well could have got up, repositioned something, moved something, had someone get out of the room, and then restarted. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm looking for, and people don't really understand that sometimes I put out videos that are longer than 3 minutes. I try my best to keep them about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes long, but that 1.5 minute video takes me about 2 weeks to put together.
Wow. That's amazing. So how did you get started in all of this?
The paranormal in general, or just the debunking portion?
Well, the paranormal in general. Did you have any thing happen to you when you was younger, or?
We lived in a lot of places. I have been to every state in the United States besides Alaska and Hawaii. So we've lived in a few different places that we thought had something going on in them. One of them we could confirm because my brother used to get up in the middle of the night and roll marbles down the staircase for no apparent reason, but he would tell my mother he was playing with the old lady that she liked to play marbles. And I think it was 6 or 7 years ago, they tore that apartment building down, and there was a lot of marbles found underneath the staircase. So, don't know where they came from. Was it a coincidence that there was a bunch of marbles under there? Maybe. But for me personally, what actually got me into physically investigating was an occurrence that I had back when we were living in Alabama, where we had a dog named Stormy, and she used to sleep in my bed every night, but she got so old that she could no longer control her faculties, and she had an accident on my bed. And so I kicked her out of the room, and I went to shut the door, and I looked down the hallway, and she's looking back at me all sad, like he's just joking. He's going to let me come back in. But I shut the door, and unfortunately got woken up by my father that next morning that she had crawled underneath the coffee table and passed away. Oh. And obviously I felt like crap for that. And that's kind of like when it all started for me, because I would feel tugging on my blanket, like Stormy her mouth was pulling on the blanket or something, which she did like to do that sometimes. So after about 2 days of feeling this constant tugging on the bottom of my blanket while I'm sleeping, I was like half awake, half asleep, and I was like, Stormy, will you stop it? And I kicked my foot back, and I hit something solid. And as soon as I hit it, it dawned on me, I just didn't hit the dog because there's no dog in this room. And then I heard something say my name, and it did not sound human. So I am OCD about having doors closed. If I had closet doors on my closet right now, they would be closed. But unfortunately, when my nephew was living here, he broke them, so they have to stay open. But I used to have a style of, there were French style doors that had the latch in the center. I would make sure that was shut and latched every night when I went to bed. After I hit that and the voice said my name, it took me about 2 or 3 minutes. I rolled over, grabbed a flashlight, turned it on. Closet door was unlatched and wide open. I started noticing over the next several weeks, scratches were appearing on the sideboard of my bed that weren't there before. Then I would have tapping on the window every day, 3 a.m., sets of 3 taps. And I have about 14 witnesses to this occurring because no one believed me. So I had them come over and stay the night to experience it. And then when you open the window after you hear someone tapping on it and there's no one standing there, how do you explain that? And so after the tapping stopped, I started having violent nightmares. And then after the nightmares stopped, I moved out of that house because I got married. Fast forward half a year, maybe a little longer. I used to work night shifts at McDonald's, so I would go into work at 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. and get home at about 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I would come home, and my ex-wife would always leave the kitchen light on. But whenever I would come home, I would see shadows moving around in the kitchen. And I always would think, why is she awake? I would get up, go into the house. No one's awake. I could never explain where these shadows came from. But the defining moment for me was I came home from work. No, I was off that day. I was on vacation. I laid down for bed early and I went to sleep. And I woke up at about 2 o'clock. It was either 2 o'clock or 2:30 in the morning with this extreme pressure on my chest, and I couldn't move. Some people call it sleep paralysis. If you've never experienced it, it is one of the freakiest, scariest things that you'll ever experience in the paranormal, in my opinion. But I woke up, couldn't move, felt this pressure on my chest, almost felt like I was being choked. And after what seemed to be an hour, but let's be honest, when you're in that mindset, it was probably 20 or 30 seconds. I was finally able to shake it off, and when I sat up, there was a figure that was blacker than black, standing at the foot of the bed, that drifted backwards, didn't walk. You could physically kind of see it floating backwards into the hallway. And as it dissipated, the light bulb in the hallway got extremely bright and then shattered. And the very next day was when I went and purchased my first paranormal book for my collection, which I still have. And that's what got me started as far as wanting to investigate and figuring out exactly what happened to me and hopefully help a few other people along the way.
Do you feel that was an attachment that you had?
I have almost no doubt there was. And I think I know where that stemmed from as well, because I had a friend of mine that I thought had wronged me. And I'm Wiccan, but I used to study Vodun. And so I made a voodoo doll. And I think that went bad. The odd thing was, the voodoo doll used to sit on my shelf. I never used it. I made it with bad intentions, though, and I think that's what it was. And I never used it, but the damn thing disappeared off the shelf. We never found it. Not even after we packed up the whole house and moved. It just disappeared.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a connection, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
But, yeah, that's what got me started in it. But I've always had a general interest. My first book that I can remember checking out in school when I went to the library was a book called The 13 Alabama Ghosts in Jeffrey that was written by a lady named Catherine Tucker Wendell. And my 9th grade book report, I did it on Area 51. So, it's like, I've always had an interest.
Fantastic.
I know. Wow, that's interesting. But I could see where Laura's coming from as well, that it definitely feels like it's connected.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure it was. And, you know, because anyone who studies Wicca, we all know about what's called the rule of return.
Yeah.
Anything that you do, especially if it's harmful, will come back to you tenfold.
Exactly.
And,
boy, do I know that.
and that's exactly what I think it was when I made this, I was in a very bad mindset. I did not have good intentions. And, you know, and I knew better, to be honest.
So how did you come out of it? Like, did it disappear eventually, or?
Oddly, it stopped as quickly as it started. And I don't know how, I don't know why, but that last night that I just described with the sleep paralysis was the last occurrence that I had of a paranormal nature that was affecting me personally.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to ask you if you did some kind of a cleansing or anything.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask too.
So that was around that time that I started doing grounding and centering.
Okay.
So that could have a little bit to do with it. It was also around that time that my first time ever trying to use sage, and I saged myself. That could have had something to do with it. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, yeah, it's good. At least now it's gone, because you had no sign of it since then, right?
Yeah, no sign of that. The only thing that haunts me now is Ian the clown doll in my closet.
Okay.
Where did he come from?
You know, that's funny, because my ex and I lived in a house that's not too far from here, and she's leaving for work one day. She calls me and she's like, "Hey, up the road from us, there's this person who has a clown doll in this case that's out by the road. You should so go get that and scare your brother with it, because my brother's chlorophobic. He hates clowns."
Oh, boy.
So I went, I grabbed it after 4 or 5 times of driving by it. I stopped, I knocked on the door. And this two teenage girls answered, and I was like, curiosity, you guys have this clown doll out here by the road. Is it just like a lawn decoration? What are you guys? I didn't even get the full sentence out of my mouth, the full question, before I hear this old lady yell from the other room, if he wants that godforsaken thing, tell him to fucking take it.
Oh my God.
Oh.
That should have been my first clue.
Yeah.
Yes, I
So-
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I brought it back to the house. I set it in the gazebo on the glass table, and the ex comes home from work, and she looks at me. She's like, "What is that thing doing here?" I said, "In my defense, it's your fault. You told me where it was." And I just never got rid of it.
Yeah.
And it does have some weird things to it. So as I told you guys earlier, you know, I test paranormal applications for my YouTube channel. There's a few of them that I do trust. One of them being the Sono X10 Spirit Box. I love that app. And I also
Okay.
love the Ghost Hunter M2 app is an excellent app. Michael Weber actually liked my YouTube review so much, he sent me a free copy of his new Ghost Science M3 app. That'll be
Wow.
that will be being tested in season 2 whenever I start doing that. Hopefully this winter, because I do the app test during the winter, because if it's cold, I don't go outside.
Yeah.
I don't do well.
Yeah. Don't blame
So-
you.
There was one time the ex was down visiting her mother, and my daughter was up from Florida. So I brought Ian inside the house because I wasn't allowed to have him in the house. He was kept out in the garage. So I brought him into the house, and we're running applications test on Ian. So when I first grabbed the doll, odd thing happened. I went to pick it up. The back of the case came open, and the doll fell out. Mind you, the doll is porcelain. So it fell out onto the road face first. You would think the face would have shattered if it was porcelain, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Only thing that broke on it was its left foot.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, well, that's weird. I picked up all the pieces, put it back in the case, made sure it was latched, took it home. And so fast forward to what I was saying, though, when me and my daughter brought it back inside, we tried to glue the foot back together, and nothing I used, not ceramic glue, not super glue. I even tried epoxy. The foot will not go back together.
Oh my God.
And I don't know why. But we're running the app test on this thing, and through two different applications, we got the name Ian, and that's how we got his name. That's not a common name. So we got that name through the Ghost Hunter M2 app and the iOvilus app. So we're continuing forward, and I have the iOvilus running. I'm pretty sure it was the iOvilus. And I asked, you know, if there's anything attached to this, like what do you want? Like, why are you here? And the only thing it said, mind you, keep in mind what I just said about the foot. The only 3 words that came through were sad, broken, and foot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. I tried to fix it, so what's there to be sad about? But the other crazy part about that is that night when we went to bed, and if I could get the clown out to show you guys, I cannot at the moment. It's currently blocked in. But I will gladly send you a picture, Susan, and you can see how big this case is. Okay?
Okay.
Like this case is massive. If I stand up, it comes up to just above my kneecap, and I'm almost 5'11". So it's in the case, it's wide. Okay, here's a good example. If I sat the doll in this chair, the case would take up this whole spot here and stand about this high.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Huh.
And it's made of solid wood with an acorn, like a handmade, hand organized acorn roof. The case weighs a good 25 to 30 pounds.
Pretty.
So we had it sitting on the dining room table. So the dining room table is about the standard size of a regular dining room table. You know, you got to be able to slide underneath it to eat and stuff. With how heavy that case is, there's no way the cats knocked that thing off the table. No way. So here's the other thing, because when I got up to go to work the next morning, the clown doll in the case was face first on the floor. It had come off the coffee table, or the dining room table, sorry. I always call it a coffee table because we never had a coffee table. That's where I'd put my coffee. But, but yeah, so it came off the dining room table somehow throughout the night over a chair that was not knocked over and was on the floor face first. Once again, if it fell from that height, the doll itself should have shattered if it's
Porcelain.
porcelain.
Yeah, exactly.
You would have thought the glass on the case would have broke.
Right.
That's what I realized. The actual glass, I think, is plexiglass. So I think that's kind of what saved that. But we did not hear a noise when it fell, and it fell on a solid oak hardwood floor. We didn't hear a noise when it fell. Nothing around it was disturbed. The chair hadn't fallen over. and the clown didn't break, but it just literally fell about 4.5 feet to the floor face first.
My question is for you: investigating the doll itself, did it have any kind of artist markings or numbers or anything on it?
Actually, yes. On the case itself, it actually has an antique sticker that has a number on it, and I've looked it up. I couldn't find much more information other than the fact that it's about 40 years old.
Okay, there was nothing like on the back of the head or
as far as that goes, I don't take it out of the case.
Oh, so say because if you can find any artist registry number or whatever that you could probably do research to find out exactly the history of the doll itself.
And it very well could be on the bottom of the stand. It could be on the bottom of the stand. It could be somewhere on the doll. I mean, it's something I can look into, but that's why I keep this around, because if I do end up touching the doll, I fucking smother my hands with this. Excuse my language, but I don't like touching that doll.
Right. Because that would be my curiosity, is what the history of the doll is. And this way maybe you get a better understanding about what's going on. And the first thing, anything with porcelain, you're going to look for, artist registry number, signature.
And I never even would have thought to look for artist marks until you just mentioned that. So that's
I'm a doll collector.
She's a doll collector.
Okay, well that makes a lot more sense as to why you would know that, because that's I know a lot of these things, but I wouldn't have.
But I don't think he's going to take it out of the case to look at it.
Yeah, see, I would do that. I just, because I just think dolls are dolls. But yeah, it's.
Well, I think I have no issue removing it from the case as long as I'm wearing gloves and I've got my holy water. I just don't like the aura of the doll, if that makes sense.
Right.
And what makes it even more strange is I told you guys, my brother's chlorophobic. He hates clowns. He wants the clown doll in his room. And I'm like, no.
Well, I mean, if you got issues with it, you're not too comfortable with it, I would take it to a safe place outside, away from the home, to do, your inspection of it. And this way, I think you'd feel a little better.
So eventually, it was supposed to happen last year at the Salem Paranormal and Horror Convention in Salem, Mass. Eventually, the radicals, Danny and Lauren Perez, are going to take it off my hands.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who they are or not, but they're amazing people. I think they made great guests for you if you've never had them. They are amazing people. They collect items that are problematic. It's literally what they do, and they don't keep them if you if you eventually decide that you want it back. They'll give it back to you. They're more like an object loan company. They take it off your hands, and they're the object's caretaker until you decide you want it back. If you decide you want it back.
Oh.
And unfortunately, the hearse was having issues that weekend, and they could not fit Ian and the case in their car. Because that's his daily driver. He drives a hearse.
Yeah, I have seen them. So
they're amazing people too.
That's creepy, but it's interesting at the same time.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I would take it, and I would pretty much strip it until I found out, what was going on with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of these times I will probably take it out of the case. I just gotta work up the nerve, or not really the nerve, more of get over the aura that it has. Once I can do that, I don't think, because it doesn't scare me. I just don't like the feeling I get from it.
Let's see. I'm assuming this is your wife.
It's my girlfriend. Yes.
Oh, your girlfriend.
Oh, okay. They're very respectful and make sure to tell the story of the pieces and the people they collected them from. Okay.
That's great. Okay, yeah, I have seen that.
They have a fork that was owned by Jeffrey Dahmer. It was actually part of the stuff they collected from his apartment.
Oh, yikes!
Yeah, I love that fork.
Oh wow! I have
to so I would love to do that, because, like, researching history on things, like, for me, it's important, especially in the paranormal, when you're dealing with stuff, because without the history, you don't have a haunting, in my opinion. So it becomes very important, and to give you like a scope of aspect, like when I research things, One of my favorite places to go is Medfield State Hospital in Medfield, Massachusetts. So you can enter the church grounds, but you're not allowed in any other building because of asbestos reasonings. I've been trying to get in there for years. I know the caretaker very well, and he still won't let me into any buildings. But this is my research from Medfield State Hospital.
Wow.
That took a while to put together.
I have all the property records from 1912 up until 1947.
Wow.
And I also, in this folder, this is a list of every single person that is buried in the cemetery at Medfield State Hospital Cemetery.
Oh my God.
So this, when I go into a case, this has always been my research style.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important though, because you need to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah,
You
I
don't-
agree.
And it's like people go to Gettysburg, good example. They go to Gettysburg because of what happened in Gettysburg, right? The blood stained that battlefield just as people's emotions stain the walls of a house. So you have to be able to look through it and delve into everything from all aspects. So some people don't like researching before they go, and I'm fine with that, especially if you're a medium or you're a psychic and you don't want that pre-intention put into your head. Then that I get. But if you're a paranormal investigator, you're going into a place without researching, I'm not sure it's the smartest idea.
But I always tell everybody like this, you don't have to get the haunted history, but
Mhm.
just get the historical history
Right.
on the property and the building.
Exactly.
This way you kind of know what you're dealing with, and you're not getting any preconceptions of, what somebody else has experienced, when
Exactly.
they've gone in there. Because you don't have to have the haunted history.
No,
Yeah,
just the basic history of the
Yeah.
location. That's all you need.
So what would you say is your most intriguing experiences that you've had investigating?
Okay. One of my favorite stories to tell. There's a place in Alabama called Elba. It's a town so small that if you drove through it and blinked, you didn't even know you drove through it. So
I've been through those towns.
yeah, so they also have a bad habit of whenever it rains at least twice every 3 years or so, the town floods. So it was home to the old Coffee County Jail. This small little town had the first jail in that county. What was the date? I'm trying to remember the date, but there was a time in the 1990s that there was a flood that happened and they couldn't get all of the inmates up to the roof in time, and 4 of them drowned in the facility. On top of that, there was a guy who fell asleep with a lit cigarette in his mouth and his mattress caught fire and he burnt to death. Then you had Sheriff Neil Grantham, who was shot to death on the front steps by an inmate that he had released a week prior. So it's got a lot of violence, a lot of history. And so we go in, we're called in by a haunted house of all places. They bought the facility and turned it into a haunted attraction. But when people started telling the owner of the attraction, who would wait at the end to greet everybody and say, "Thank you for coming, I hope you had a good time," they would compliment a certain area of the jail. And he was like, "What are you talking about? We don't have any actors stationed back there." And this happened so much that he asked the Chamber of Commerce to get in contact with me to have me come and look into it. So that's what we did.
Mhm.
And I did not know until after the investigation was over with that we actually investigated the site on the 40th anniversary of Sheriff Neil Grantham being shot to death on the front steps, the exact day 40 years later. So that was kind of strange. We're in the facility and you have a bullpen style set up upstairs, but there's no beds or anything left in there. The only beds that are left are in the 3 double cells downstairs, which would have been the drunk tanks. So that's where they would take the people. If they were drunk, they'd throw them in there for the night. Then you had one singular cell that was a solitary cell. One small window, that's all you had, nothing else in a bed. So I was curious about that room, because the guy told me that they could never get the door open. It was so rusted shut that they tried and could not get it open. So what ended up happening was we went and bought a whole load of WD-40 and a crowbar. We finally get this door open after 5 of us trying to do it. I think it was 3.5 cans of WD-40 and that crowbar. We finally get the door open. And I'm like, all right, now I'm ready. So I set up a camera facing the interior part of the cell from the exterior part of the doorway. I set up another camera down the hall facing the cell door. I'm in there doing audio work, and I was in there for about 25 minutes maybe, and I hear this weird tink, tink, and then pa-boom. The cell door that just took all of that work to open slammed shut on its own volition. I was stuck in there for an hour. So the crazy part about that, though, is at the moment that that cell door slammed shut, both of the cameras I had set up on it died simultaneously at the same exact timestamp.
Interesting.
So could it have been battery drain? I don't know if I even firmly believe in battery drain, believe it or not. That's why I bring a battery tester with me on investigations, because if I experience what I think is battery drain, I hook it up to my battery tester to ensure it's got no juice. But I don't know, but I can't explain two different cameras malfunctioning at the same exact time, so I can't say it's a malfunction either.
Right.
I feel like the odds of that will be astronomical.
What did you do to try to debunk the situation, though, that what would cause the door to close?
So once we got the door open, like, this thing was heavy. There's no way the wind pushed it. I think the only person that was close to me was over in what would have been the old shower area of the jail, and that was a good 30 feet away. So I see no reason that door should have done that, because it was super heavy and it took so long to get open in the first place. Now, my thought here, and this is what kind of made me think about it, was, as I said, we investigated the location on the 40th anniversary of Sheriff Neil Grantham being shot on the front steps. If the said spirit of Neil Grantham is still in that facility and he walked by and saw an inmate standing in the solitary cell but the door was open, what do you think he would do?
Yeah,
He'd probably shut it.
Yeah. Now, there was no like spring activation on the door itself, because that's
Nope.
what I mean. You grease it up with a bunch of WD-40, so
Right.
that would be the first thing that would pop into my head.
Yeah, nope. I didn't see anything even closely remotely to that, because I did look for spring-loaded stuff. I did look. I mean, there are old school style hinges, so they definitely weren't spring-loaded.
Well,
But yeah,
and you said it was a heavy door, so yeah, I don't know if maybe if it was due to level of the floor, or the building shifting would cause
the floor would be concrete, correct?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all this stuff shifts after a lot of years. Everything shifts, so I'm just wondering if it had that kind of momentum to make the door swing back because of the way it was designed.
Yeah, and I can't rule that out of the plausibility. As a matter of fact, it was after that case, because I couldn't rule that out, that I started bringing a level with me. For if things like this happen, I can check and see if the floor is level. Because with that door being so heavy, could it have possibly been an unlevel floor that made it swing? Maybe. I can't say it was. I can't say it wasn't. But what I can tell you was it made a very loud noise, and I was stuck in there, and I didn't like it.
No, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't like it either.
So that was probably one of my favorite experiences. And then one of my other ones, we got called down to St. Augustine, Florida, and anyone in the paranormal knows about St. Augustine. It's a beautiful place. And we actually didn't get called down there for the lighthouse, though. We got called down there to investigate two different spots, one of which was the Castillo de San Marcos, which is the oldest Spanish-American fort in the United States, as well as the Ponce de Leon Fountain of Youth Park. So the Ponce de Leon Fountain of Youth Park, they would claim that they would hear Indian chanting at night, and then they would hear phantom cannon fire. We're there, we're doing our thing, and quiet night. Nothing happened all night that I can recollect that would jump out at me, right? We get back, we're going over all the stuff that we collected. In the audio, you can hear chanting that sounds like it's Native American. We didn't physically hear this with our own ears. So maybe their claims are true. In the Castillo de San Marcos, we didn't really experience anything there, to be honest. I'm not going to say it's not haunted, because that's not my place to say that. But beautiful location, and I had a great time just walking around, because the history of that place is amazing.
Wow.
So
is
the
amazing.
changing, when did you pick it up on? Was it just on the video, or did you have digital
was-
recording of the sounds?
Yeah, so it was not caught on the video. It was only caught on the digital recorder.
The digital recorder.
So I would think if it was something I could physically hear, that it would have been caught on both.
Right.
But it was only caught on one, and maybe it's just because of how the audio imprints into the magnetic stuff on the inside. Maybe, I don't know. But I can tell you that there was definitely chanting, and it definitely, you could almost hear what sounded like rhythmic drum beats in the background. So it was intriguing. Not like anything I had heard before. And then one of my other favorite ones was the Sloss Furnaces in Birmingham, Alabama. They don't really allow you to investigate there anymore. You can go and tour it, but they stopped doing paranormal investigations like 8 or 9 years ago, maybe a little longer. But we're in there doing our thing. We got cameras set up everywhere. Here's the thing. You're in an old steel foundry, right? So when you're in that kind of place, so many people that investigated it before me would claim, oh, you'd hear things getting thrown. You'd hear these phantom footsteps. You'd hear this. You're in an old factory. Anything that falls on the floor in there is going to be metal. It's going to make a loud noise. So any kind of actual like physical clunking noises or anything like that I heard, I instantly just threw out the window right away, specifically because of the setting that we were in. But I cannot explain the ball of light that I saw down at the end of one of the corridors with the shadow that was following closely behind it. And I ran down there to see if anyone was there. There's no one there. There was no one in the facility but myself and my team, and the security guard was over in his trailer because he stays on site whenever you were doing this stuff. He was in his trailer just outside of the facility, so I know it wasn't him. But I don't know about the shadow that I saw, and I don't know about the light that was kind of like floating in front of it. It almost looked like someone was walking by with a flashlight.
And you pretty much dismissed a kind of weather interaction, like ball lightning and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it was a perfectly clear night. It was a perfectly clear night. There was no wind. It was. I don't think weather would have had anything to do with it at all. It was just an odd occurrence. And I'd almost forgot. I actually had one when I was out in Wisconsin at the beginning of the month that I can't explain, which is really strange. So I went out to a place called Broadhead Manor in Wisconsin for an event called the Paranormal Rockdown. So I was brought in by the location owner specifically to debunk the activity going on within his building. I was in the building for 3 whole nights. I literally left the building twice, I think, for 20 minutes. Otherwise than that, I was in the building the whole time. First night I get there, not even been there 2 hours yet. I'm upstairs on the 3rd floor talking with Morgan, my girlfriend, and she is a medium. She's got abilities that freak me out. I don't know how to explain them, but it's freaky to me, and she knows that it's freaky to me. So, but we're walking, and I'm walking. She's on the phone with me, and my dumbass forgot a flashlight at home. I didn't bring a flashlight with me, so I'm trying to find my way around using a green laser grid pen. I don't know if any of you out there have ever tried to walk while holding a laser grid. It is very disorientating. It does not work very well.
No.
So I
throws off that depth perception.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. So I ended up just pointing it at the wall beside me because the wall was white and I was getting a decent ambient reflection on the floor. So anyone who's ever been to school, which I hope is everybody that's watching this, they know how school buildings, if you had a school that had a staircase, mind you, that you would have the doors that would open that lead to the staircase to go either up or down. So I'm walking down the hallway talking to her on the phone, and I just paused, and I was like, what in the hell? What was that? And she said, you just saw a shadow, didn't you? And I was like, yes, I did. So Bill, the owner of Broadhead, he's like a ninja, though. So he walks around this location barefoot, like a falling down abandoned location, no shoes. I couldn't do that, but I've heard he's a ninja, so I thought he was playing a prank on me. I run down there because there was an open doorway, And then you had a small little rectangular window on the other door that was closed. You could see the shadow block out the rectangular window and then completely block out the doorway in the shape of a human to go into a room that was adjacent to the doorway. So I'm on my way down there because I'm going to cuss Bill out. So I'm on my way down there and I walk through the center section of the hallway where there's a set of double doors that have that old school, the bar that you have to push on to open.
Mm-hmm.
The bar on the left door or the right door as I was walking by, I physically saw it lift up and slam back down. Me being me, in my logical mindset, I was like, okay, I'll get to the shadow in a second. I got to see if this was stuck up somehow. Maybe it was stuck. Maybe, it didn't stick.
Right.
It barely moved, to be honest. So how it did that, I don't know. And while I'm busy doing this, on the other end of the hallway, I see the shadow of a little girl run through the other doorway. And I am just mind blown by this location. It's one of the first locations I have ever been to that when I left, I had more questions than I had answers because I could not debunk a single thing that I experienced in that building.
Wow, interesting. Very interesting. What types of equipment do you use, Nate, when you go?
I'm kind of old school. I like my old school stuff. But I do have certain things like I have, I don't know if you've ever heard of Lauren Hellickson. She makes some things that are known as crystal pods. I do have a crystal pod. I love that thing. I think it's more accurate than a REM pod by far. I do have a REM pod, but it's not, it's a generic REM pod. It's not a real one. I do have motion censored music boxes. I've got the laser grid setups. I've got obviously cameras. I use all different kinds of film as far as camera goes. I still have one of those old school Instafilm shake it like a Polaroid picture ones.
Yep.
I love that thing. I've got digital. I've got 35 millimeter. I've even got an 8 millimeter film camera that I've not had a chance to use yet because film for that thing is expensive. But yeah, I mean, I use all kinds of various things. I even bring wind chimes. I'll hang wind chimes up throughout the location sometimes, trying to make sure that there's no drafts or anything.
Oh, we have a question from Steph. Stephanie wants to know, what does he feel about dowsing rods?
So I think dowsing rods are interesting. I actually have a set. I don't know if I have them. I don't, but I actually have a set that's retractable and very easy, very, very concealable. So dowsing rods are interesting specifically because of how they're designed. They were originally designed to detect water and or precious metals. That's why, they were invented. But then people discovered they have this uncanny ability to be able to detect other things that we cannot see, such as people think they're spirits. I was not a believer in dowsing rods until I went to Broadhead Manor. The owner, Bill, has a set of dowsing rods, and the things that I saw him do with these, when he's sitting there holding them, mind you, I've seen some people hold them and they put their thumb on the back. When the handles, they're free floating. There's two pieces of metal there. But to me, as soon as you put your finger on the back of that could lead to manipulation through micro movements or the ideomotor effect. So I do not like it when people do that. When you hold a dowsing rod, hold the handle itself. Don't rest your thumb on the back. But anyways, he's holding them just like I described, and he would sit there and specifically ask to point one rod at a person in the room, and the rod would point at that person. He'd tell them, use the other rod and point at this person. That rod would go the other direction and point at another person that he named. It was insane. So I think dowsing rods are a tool that realistically are decent tools. You just have to know how to properly use them.
Roger actually has a question. How hard is it to capture evidence on a camera? Have you caught anything you can't explain?
It is nowhere near as common as television shows will make it out to be. I can tell you that. I have been doing this for, like I said, a little bit over 18 years now. I have a total of 6 pictures that I believe that I cannot explain and no video. But maybe I'm over hypercritical too. Maybe there are a few things that I capture that really can't be explained, but I overanalyze it, and so I find an explanation because that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? But I've got like 6 photographs over the time that I've been doing this that I realistically think cannot be explained.
Right. Do you think, because seeing that you consider yourself a debunker, do you feel that you debunk yourself out of actual evidence?
I have done that before, yes. And I have actually had other people point it out to me. So whenever you think in the mindset that I think in, you do overanalyze things a lot. And the issue with that is you're 100% right. There is times where I'm looking at it from such a hypercritical standpoint that I caught something legitimately paranormal. Just I refused to believe it was paranormal. And so, yeah, that has happened.
So paranormal applications, what features or aspects do you look for to assess their effectiveness?
So, for one, a lot of them contain what they call electromagnetic field detectors in them. Let's be honest, it's not going to be as accurate as your K2 meter. It's not going to be as accurate as your ELF zone meter, right? But if you think about it logically, in order for the speakers in your phone to work, you have to have small magnets in there. So your phone definitely can detect EMF. It's just not going to be as accurate. So what I do is I test many different criteria. The EMF detector is the one that I am most focused on because I want to see how well that functions. So I walk through, use my K2, I figure out what gives off a decent field, and then I test that result to the phone result that I'm getting on the application.
Okay.
Very few of them are accurate, to be honest. And I don't know if that's just the way the phone is or they're not designed to do that, to be honest. And then I'm looking at phonetic generator style apps. I'm looking if, say, a word comes through an application. I'm looking for significance of the word. I also want to chart how many times words come out that are just nonsense, that don't make sense. Because if you could take it and you can break it down to a percentage of words that made sense compared to words that didn't make sense, then you might be able to come to a conclusion as far as whether or not that the application is actually doing what it's supposed to do. And here's the thing, so many people distrust any kind of application because of the fact that it's a downloadable thing for your smartphone. Your phone contains more sensors than half of the equipment that you use in paranormal investigating. It's got a touchscreen sensor, it's got a vibration sensor, it's even got a barometer. How do you think it knows when you go up flights of stairs? It's got a ton of sensors that really could be utilized by an application if utilized properly. One of the ones that I really like is an app put out by Digital Dowsing. It's called the MagCam app. You use it as a stationary device, right? You have to mess with the settings a little bit to get it right, but you set it up, and if anything comes near your phone that manipulates the magnetic field around your phone to the point that the application will recognize it, it will automatically snap photographs. So you don't even have to be around it. If anything goes around your phone that modifies the magnetic field in that area, it will start snapping photographs. I love that. I think that's a very ingenious way to use your phone as a plausible paranormal investigation tool as far as a stationary tool. And there's another one that I've got to look at the name, and I don't know what it is at the current moment off the top of my head, but it's almost like a geophone. It detects vibration. So you can sit your phone down as a stationary device, and if it vibrates, it will start spitting out words. So it's an interesting concept.
Yes, it is.
Interesting. I tried the SLS app on my phone, and I tell you, I went into a cemetery of all places, and oh my God,
it's funny.
It was funny.
That's all I do is laugh. I'm sorry.
I assume you're talking about the Ghost Tube SLS.
Yes.
So here's the thing. What model phone do you have?
I have iPhone 12.
You have an iPhone 12. Here's the thing. iPhone 12s are not LiDAR capable. So the iPhone 15 and above or iPhone 13 and above are LiDAR capable. So if you have the 12 Pro Max, that is LiDAR capable. Here's the thing though. SLS, structured light sensoring, right? Your phone does not have that physical structured light sensor. So you really can't use it in that style of an application. But with these newer ones that have the LiDAR capability, as far as being able to make 3D scans of room using IR beams coming out of the phone, I would think it would be more plausible with a newer device that application could actually function somewhat in the way that we would expect it to react, but it will not be as accurate, nor will it be as good as like having the old school Xbox Connect setup.
Okay. So in reality, so what it is exactly is the imprint of a spirit's energy that you pick up on?
And that's up for a hot debate, because no one really knows why it maps these figures in the SLS. I'm building my own SLS camera. I have the Xbox Connect and all that. I'm building my own.
Okay.
Not because I think it works, because I don't. I'm building it because I'm curious. I think that it maps out things that we may not see, but natural variations of things. Okay, if it detects something that even remotely looks like a human figure, it's going to map it. And I'm just curious as to how people think that it actually maps out spirits, when realistically, who knows what it does? You can't claim it's a spirit if you don't really know.
It also doesn't have a solid form, so what is it picking up on?
So that's the thing. It's like a spirit, supposedly a spirit needs a lot of energy to manifest. So they would have to have a lot of energy to cause an imprint for something to be picked up. So
right. And for me, you would think that if they were putting out that much energy, that they could be mapped on a device. We should be able to physically see them as well, because that's what it does, is it maps out things that it physically sees with the IR. So we should be able to see it as well.
Yep. It's very true. Very true. Steph has a question. If you could investigate with 3 people, teams, who would you want to investigate with?
Follow up for that. Do they have to be alive? Because I asked.
She didn't specify, so go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I ask a very similar question at the end of every single one of my podcasts. I ask one person, dead or alive, who are you investigating with? One location, that's a bucket list. Where are you going? One piece of equipment that you can take with you, and only one. What are you bringing with you and why? So for that one, though, my 3, hands down, it's no question for me. I want Dr. Hans Halser. I model a lot of what I do as far as my research-wise off of Dr. Hans Halser.
Okay.
Harry Houdini was well known for debunking the paranormal. That is what he did. He was part of the reason that the spiritualist movement went south so quickly. And then my 3rd one would be Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters.
Okay.
And that's just because I respect his work.
Yeah, I grew up with Jason. It's when I first started getting into the field, that's what was on mainly, was Ghost Hunters or TAPS.
Yep.
So, hey, Greg, nice to see you.
So yeah, everybody grew up with TAPS. So it's
Well, and what happened?
I do like the way when TAPS started out. That's what hooked me was their technique and the debunking, how they picked everything apart. So they they incorporated scientific and common sense, obviously, and technology to figure out what was going on. That's why I think the show was so attractive. Hi, Greg. Welcome.
Hi, Greg. And we lost Nate.
Yes, we did. What's your channel? He wants to know what Nate's channel is.
I can put it in.
Susan will pop it in there.
I'll pop it in while we're waiting to figure out. Maybe it was the clown, Nate.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Oh boy.
It's trying.
I was actually just looking at his channel.
Sorry that I popped out. My father needed me for a second, so I had to.
Okay. Oh, look at that. I even have his channel on here. Nate Elwell. Sorry, guys. We're just waiting.
Andrew says, hopefully conference each April at the Grand Islands Fairgrounds. Oh, that's cool.
All right, I'm putting in his channel right now. He's interesting because he has a whole bunch of clips that he does to debunk as well. So
there he is.
Sorry,
what happened? Was it the clown?
No, I had a phone call and it interrupted everything, and then I had to.
Okay, got ya.
Yeah.
Some callback.
I told them not to call to begin with because I'd be on a podcast for at least an hour to an hour and 10 minutes.
That's funny.
So my channel on TikTok is called Static Voices. So
Yeah.
my channel here on YouTube, it should just be under Nathaniel Elwell, I believe.
It is, yes. Yes. And I believe I have it on the description as well, at least your TikTok. But
Okay.
I'm putting it right now in the chat for everybody to see it. Never can.
All right, have you ever been to a place that you will never go back to again?
You know, yes, and not because it scared me. Because it was one of the most boring nights I've ever been to, the Lizzie Borden house.
Really?
Really?
Oh, Susan.
Oh, see, I was gonna go there.
So no. Here's the thing. The paranormal happens when it wants, right? I just happened to have a night where literally nothing happened.
Well, that's me.
I recreated the murder of Mr. Borden laying on the couch. I actually slept on the floor where they found Mrs. Borden's body in an attempt to try and get something to happen, and nothing. Like, it was one of the quietest nights I have ever had in my years of doing this.
Wow.
In your opinion, do you think that she was capable of committing those murders?
I think it was the uncle, personally. But you know what? Anyone could be capable of anything if pushed far enough.
Yeah, that's true. But my argument is because back in those days, those women were very delicate, very dainty, not very physical. So to do that kind of harm to somebody, it would take a lot of strength. And I just don't think she had the strength to cause that kind of damage.
I think based off of, if you look at the style of how they were done, they do look like more like a crime of passion than a random crime, because of how many times they were hit with said hatchet. I know that they call it an axe, but it's a hatchet.
Right.
But the thing is it was super, super personal, because it was the face and then to the back, in the back of the head. So I don't know. A lot of people say it was Lizzie. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe it had to have been a male, because even a hatchet, even an axe, if anybody has ever done any kind of wood chopping or anything like that, you figure, after 5-6 times, your arm's going to get tired. So, especially, like I said, women back then didn't do a lot of physical labor, the upper class women. So,
and that's true.
I don't see her being possible to do the damage that they claim that was done.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you on that. So that's why I'm saying I personally think it was the estranged uncle that just happened to leave town shortly after.
It probably was. And now in this day and age, I also asked, because Susan had the guy that does one of the tours there, if they ever considered doing a reenactment now with the technology that we have and the DNA technology that we have. Is there any way possible that they could figure out from doing testings like that who possibly could be the murderer? I mean, her or the uncle.
I mean, if they still had all of the stuff, like as far as the evidence kept, I mean, I don't see why that wouldn't be plausible. You would just have to be able to find a living relative to match the DNA too.
Right.
So it very well could be possible, though. I mean, you won't get an exact DNA match, but you're getting enough points of DNA that you could be like, okay, we're on to something here.
Right. So, or like just on the hatchet itself.
Yeah.
You're going to have, there's going to be something on the handle. Like I said, if you're whipping away at somebody all that time, something off the hand of the murderer is going to show up on the handle.
Oh, you would think. Absolutely.
So, but he says, he didn't hear anything about any of that being done. Roger has a question. He says, Nate, which place do you think is most overhyped?
So,
hi, Claire, sweetie.
It's a place that I have not visited yet. And a lot of it is just because I didn't want to deal with the circus of the location itself. For me, if I had to choose a location that I think is really, really overhyped, it's going to be the Conjuring House.
Oh, definitely.
and that's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's not a great location, but for me, it's just everyone is Conjuring House this, Conjuring House that. The lady that owns it is batshit crazy for one.
Yeah.
For two, yeah. And for two, it's just, I don't know. For me, the house itself, the story behind it, it just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, that's actually a big ticket number on everybody's bucket list. Unfortunately, I mean, if the rumors are true and it's going to be sold,
Yeah.
which I mean, she should sell it. It's ridiculous. She
should.
can't go back to Rhode Island. She'll be
Yeah.
arrested. So just get rid of the debt, the property, and move on. But if she's as stubborn as everybody says, she'll let it rot and cave in. Is probably what's going to happen.
Yep. Right now, her keeping it is nothing more than petty.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your book.
Oh, so what was that? You cut out for a second.
Oh, sorry. Can you tell us a little bit of, sorry, let me actually.
Why don't we squeeze in Stephanie's question first, Susan?
Okay.
She says, have you
yes.
ever been to a place where you found evidence that they have faked it?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I have. There's a place in Enterprise, Alabama called the Rawls Hotel. The Rawls Hotel is no longer open. So they called me in to do an October event where they wanted to do a ghost hunt around the hotel. They have their famed photo of the ghost that they captured on their staircase hanging up you take a left on a hallway and it's right there. So they're walking me through and they're like, well, we want to take you over here to show you the photo that was caught on this staircase over here. Okay, let's see it. We turn the corner. I look at the photograph. I look back at him and I said, so you're telling me you caught this on that staircase? And he was like, yeah. I was like, that's funny because the photograph you're claiming is your own, that's a photograph that's very famous, known as the Brown Lady of Rynham Hall.
Oh boy.
Busted.
And no longer did they want me to do their thing.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Aye.
So yeah, so I have had that occur before, yes.
Yeah.
Good
Sorry,
catch.
I had a I'm on call, so I had to take a phone call for a minute.
Oh,
But Nate, tell us a little bit about your book.
So the book is based off of my YouTube testing for the applications. The book itself is called Downloading for the Dead: Investigating Paranormal Applications.
Okay.
We're in the final editing phase of it now. We're trying to thin the book out a little bit because it's pretty comprehensive, but there's a lot of stuff in there that I couldn't break it into two parts. I was asked to break it into two parts. I didn't write it for a two-part volume. I wrote it for one cohesive unit. So we're trying to thin it down a little bit. But it's basically my journey as far as testing applications, what got me into doing that, and telling you the applications that I think you can use and the ones you should absolutely avoid.
Okay. Yeah, definitely need to check it out. When do you estimate, is there a time frame when it's going to be published and available?
We were hoping to have it out by September, but having to thin it out a little bit like that, we don't think that's going to be plausible now.
Okay.
So for sure by 2026.
That's awesome.
Great.
So tell us a little bit of something, how you got involved with creating Paranormal Unveiled.
I'll be honest with you. I was on one of their shows on the network, the All Access Network.
Mm-hmm.
I was on one of their shows with a guy named Shane McClain.
Yes.
And Shane had the idea. He messaged me afterwards and said, dude, I think you should have your own podcast. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. But I did not hear the end of it. And then Gwen contacted me. They basically strong-armed me into having this podcast. But I love it, though. Now that I'm doing it, like, I wasn't sure if it was just the lack of time because the time frame is kind of late, like 9:30 p.m. on a Wednesday when I get up for work at 4:30 or 5 in the morning. It's kind of late.
Well,
But
the same as me. Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of late. But for me, it was the time slot was kind of a turnoff for me. And then the idea of having a podcast was a turnoff for me because I do so many podcasts as it is. I really didn't think I'd have time to have my own.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? After much convincing, they talked me into it, and that's kind of like the story of how it started. And I'm booked solid right now until I think mid-December. So I'm hoping we got some pretty good shows coming up. So
That's good. Now you don't book them. Gwen does, right? Does Gwen
No, I
book
do.
for you, or you do? Okay.
I book the podcast. I make my own intro videos for the podcast. I take as much off of Gwen's plate as I can. Because
Okay.
she has all these other podcasts that she deals with that
Mhm.
she has to do all that work.
That's great. Great. So what advice would you give like for somebody starting out in the paranormal?
Trust your instincts. That would be my main one. If you walk into a location and it doesn't feel right, trust that something's not right if that's what you're feeling. Your body is going to be your best tool as far as what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and what you're feeling. The feeling is very important, and a lot of people that are new to this, they ignore it. They look at it as it could be nerves or jitters, because they don't do it very much. Yeah, it could be, but jitters are not going to give you a feeling of dread. Jitters are not going to make you walk into a place and feel like, I just don't want to be here. So trust your instincts. That's one of the things that I love to drill into people.
Yeah, definitely. You need to. Definitely. So we talked about, you doing paracons, your podcasts, investigating, but what do you honestly do on your free time to unwind?
Work.
You have any hobbies other than what you're doing?
I cook. I love to cook.
Okay.
But typically what I do to unwind is I spend as much time with my son as possible, obviously, and I love to cook. Like I have a vertical pit boss smoker. I love to smoke.
When's dinner?
Okay. I know, huh?
Well, that's one thing that I can do very well. That it's not even really the fact that it's easy, because smoking food is really easy if you just pay attention to how to do it. But it's just, I don't know. I've always loved cooking, so
Yeah.
Good.
I posted something on his Facebook saying, I'm coming over when you were smoking those ribs the one time. Like,
yeah,
I'm coming over.
Yep, that was I did ribs. I did I think on that particular post I had done a brisket and a pork butt as well.
Oh, I would have been, that would have been me. I would have been
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring
'cause
your own fork.
it's got 4 different racks in it that each rack can hold, I think, 6 pounds of meat, maybe a little more.
Nice.
But you have to remember though, when you're smoking something, once it starts actually cooking, you're gonna lose about 20% of that weight because of the smoking process.
Yeah.
So if you do an 8-pound brisket, it's gonna end up being more like 6 to 6.5 pounds when you're done.
Interesting.
Very nice.
But
I would love to.
otherwise than that, hobby wise, I honestly don't have really time to do it outside of
Really?
work.
Yeah.
Outside of work, the little guy, the podcasts. It's just I'm constantly on the go.
Exactly, Steph. Gotta love a man who knows how to cook. Yes,
sirree.
Exactly. Do you collaborate with other teams or other
Hey, Bill.
scientists or?
So I feel like if another team wants me to collaborate, I am fine with it. I have no issues doing it. But I've not gone out of my way to do it as far as finding other people to collaborate with my team, because I do a lot of residential stuff. So my clients trust me, they trust my team. So I don't want to bring another team in that could disrupt, the factors of everything going on.
Yeah. Bill says, Nate, ever watch the Stainless Steel Pan Chef Guy?
I have not, but I'm intrigued.
I know. I never heard of him as well.
No, I'm definitely intrigued.
There you go.
Interesting.
Just gave him something to watch later.
Yeah.
Bill Troublemaker.
Once I get back from grilling burgers for the little guy.
Yeah. My God, you're extremely busy, I could tell.
Oh, I very rarely have free time as far as outside of work. Like I said, I do a lot of events. I'll be in Augusta, Maine here shortly. I'll be in Salem. I'm going to be all over the place. And next year,
when are you going to be in Salem?
Salem will be, I can tell you exactly. Hang on. Let me grab my flyer.
October?
Susan's already thinking ahead.
I will not make that mistake again.
Okay. I'll be there in October.
Let's which book did I put it
Yeah,
in?
but it's going to be earlier in October, isn't it, Susan?
No, it's going to be the week of Halloween.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, we won't be able to find you. You'll be all done.
Yeah.
All right, Morgan says she believes that it's the November 15th. He's going to be there.
That sounds right, but I'm just trying to verify.
November 6th, 15th. Okay.
She's right. Just sit down.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm pretty sure that it's November 15th. I'm pretty sure she's right. Because it was supposed to be a 2-day event, but they trimmed it down to 1.
Okay. Wow. So if you had a place that you would, hands down, if they offered you, all expenses paid to go and travel to this particular place, where would it be? Or do you have several?
For me, without even really thinking about it, Lep Castle on Ireland.
Yes. Everybody wants to go there. Yes.
I would love to do Lep Castle on Ireland. I know that the guy who puts on my Paracons that I typically attend, he does Transylvania tours. So I think that would be really cool.
Yes.
So outside of the U.S., those 2 places. Here in the U.S., one place I've never been that I've always wanted to go, the Villisca Axe Murder House.
Oh, yeah.
And the Myrtle Plantation.
Yeah.
Good places.
Yeah, definitely. The Villisca house, I believe, is not owned, but it's run by, they're kind of by the same people of the Lizzie Borden house.
Yes.
The Gettysburg.
Yes. Yeah. That did recently happen, where the same people who run the stuff at the Lizzie Borden house now run the Villisca Axe Murder House as well.
Yep.
And they were doing something that I thought was weird, trying to connect the Lizzie Borden murders to the Villisca Axe murders. I'm sorry, that's a little bit outside of the scope of anything possible, in my opinion. But so I heard about that little thing, and I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah, no, that's the first time I hear of it. Hi, James. How's it going?
Hey, James.
But I would definitely love to go to the Myrtle's Plantation too, though.
Yes.
That's the problem. There's so many places.
Yeah, there is. There is.
And I passed up an opportunity to go to Penhurst. I've not been there.
Yeah, I was there a couple of years ago, I would say. But there's only maybe 3 or 4 buildings that are open that you could investigate.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they plan to do much more with it. They constantly have Paracons and events there, though.
Right.
So
yeah, I see that they're constantly doing stuff there, and I'd also love to go to Ohio State Reformatory at least once.
Yes. So what's your intake on cryptids?
I think the people out there are seeing something that cannot be explained.
Okay.
I do believe that some of these cryptids that are out there, they're not so cryptid, I guess you could say. They're just unexplained, unidentified creatures that are or misidentification due to sightings. Do I think that Bigfoot's real? Yes. Do I believe that Bigfoot's an interdimensional being? No, not at all. I don't understand where that theory came from. Do I think that there's a monster lurking in Lake Loch Ness, or even over here in Vermont, Lake Champlain, or Lake Okanagan, where you have Ogopogo? Do I think that people are sighting massive dinosaur-like creatures? No. Are there massive dinosaur-like creatures in those lakes? Yes, they're called sturgeons. So I think that a lot of the things can be misidentified, and my favorite cryptid of all time is the Mothman, even though I don't think the Mothman really ever existed. I just think it was a story made up by some teenagers who were probably hammered and thought they saw something that they couldn't explain, when in all actuality they didn't. And then it just kind of turned into this whole spiel where, the Silver Bridge collapse and then everything else. And now you got the statue of the Mothman downtown. And, I think definitely people are seeing things that cannot be explained, and or they just don't know how to properly identify it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. Hi, Chesa, sweetie. Pom says, I think they are saying there is a portal between the Lizzie Borden house and the Villisca, not a connection as such.
Okay. Well, I knew there was something weird going on where they were trying to correlate them.
Okay. So, and I asked everybody this, what do you believe about the afterlife? Do you believe that once you pass, you get to be reborn again, reincarnated? Do you believe that once you pass, you're just one part of energy? What is your belief?
You know, I'll be honest with you. I'm not exactly sure what I believe, because I hear so many people say that, that have had NDEs or near death experiences, that, they see this great bright light. Then I've heard other people say that they see darkness, nothing, there's nothing there. And then I've heard, the theory of reincarnation. I hope that one's not true, because I'm probably going to come back as a dung beetle. So I really hope that one's not true.
Jeez.
But
Keep
I
drinking
can
that coffee.
but
Sorry, you
but
set that one off.
but I'm not exactly sure what I believe in happens after we die. Because realistically, if say that we pass and our ethereal soul, if you will, goes up to heaven or whatever, then how is there any plausibility that there are ghosts still here on Earth? Unless it's not actually a ghost, it's just subconscious energy that is put into an environment.
Okay. I mean, yeah. It's kind of, it's interesting how like different people, we ask that question on the podcast and they all have different scenarios. One particular person, I asked if they believed in Bigfoot and, in other cryptids. And they said it's quite possible that they travel through portals, like, and so that we don't see them. They travel in between like their place and then our place, which is kind of interesting on hearing about different people, what their interpretations are with what they believe in.
It's a pretty good theory, but yeah.
Yeah, it is a pretty good.
It is. And that's why I was going into I'm not sure if I believe that they're interdimensional beings or not, that basically travel through portals. But here's the thing. You never found a body. No, we've never found a body. But if said creature is so much like us in mannerisms, then is it not possible that they cannibalize or bury their dead?
It's true.
Because
or if a bone or something was found and that was mistaken as just a human remain, then a Bigfoot remain.
Yeah, and
so there's just too many questions.
There's so many questions. And why is it that every single footage that we see of every picture is blurry?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
So,
especially with today's phones. I mean, you could get.
Yeah.
My son could take a picture of the moon and get a close up. Nobody could get a close up of a Bigfoot.
So some people claim that Bigfoot or whatever can emit an infrasound, like an infrasound, a very low frequency sound that can manipulate or mess with our devices, and that's why we can't get proper photographs.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I buy into that, but like the infrasound thing, that theory's been around for a long time, ever since the Dyatlov Pass incident, where people claimed that was a Bigfoot that ate those people. I'm sorry, it was an avalanche. But, so the infrasound theory has been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
Have you been in the Bridgewater Triangle?
I have been, the closest I have been was Lizzie Borden House, which is technically right there on the corner of the Bridgewater Triangle.
Yep.
So
because they've had experiences there before between cryptids and UFOs, Bigfoots.
It's always been a place that it's been on my list to visit, because I definitely want to go to the Fall River Freetown State Forest, where back in the 80s there was a satanic cult that murdered a lady. I think they beheaded her, actually. And and plus you have the legends of the Pukwudgie.
Yep.
I'm very curious about the Pukwudgie. So the Pukwudgie, if you go over to the Algonquin style, it's called a Memagwese. So it's literally the same creature, just named differently. But that also goes back into if you look at Bigfoot and all these other mythical creatures, right? Why is it that Native American cultures across the U.S. that had no way of communicating with one another could sit there and tell you exact descriptions of very similar creatures?
Right. Actually, the person to talk to about all that is Ryan, Sir Spook.
Yes.
He is very knowledgeable about all of that. So yeah.
Interesting.
You ever want to have him on your show and discuss those? That's the guy to hook up with.
Yeah, send me his name for sure, because I'm curious.
Yeah.
There you go,
Right.
Ryan. He's in the chat.
Yeah.
You heard it.
He was in here, but he's actually, I believe he's actually there today.
Yeah, yeah.
A matter of fact, investigating. But yeah, and I want to get there as soon as possible as well.
I agree with that comment, by the way. With the technology that we have these days, we shouldn't have footage that looks like it was recorded on a potato.
She's right.
That's a good one.
She is right.
I like.
It's a good one.
So, he got a phone call again.
He got a phone call again.
Stop calling. Out of order.
We're almost finished. Oh my God.
Oh, like on the Bigfoot theory, I believe there's something out there, but
I do too. Yeah.
Who knows what
phone call? Hi.
All right. Sorry.
That's okay. That's
there
okay.
we go. Ryan says, I'm going out tonight, Bridgewater Triangle.
Yep, there he goes.
Well, Nate wants to hook up with you, Ryan. Touch base with him. You guys have a lot to talk about.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Spookfest YouTube. Oh, this is YouTube channel. Thank you, Steph. Thank you. And hopefully, hi, Sean. How's it going?
Hi, Sean. How are you?
Hopefully he'll be back so he could let us know what's in plans for his future.
All right. Yeah, as I always tell everybody, if you want to know about that stuff, you talk to Ryan.
Oh, there he is.
That one was my son. He butt dialed me.
That's okay. That's okay. So, Nate, what is your plans for the future? What do you have going on?
I've got the Maine Paranormal and Horror Convention coming up in Augusta, Maine. That's in September. We got Salem coming up, in November. And I feel like there was one in between that. I just can't remember what it is for the life of me at the moment. Or maybe that was one that I turned down, but I didn't have the time. I think that's what happened with that one. That's why I can't remember it. But I got that going on. I've got almost 65, maybe 70 new debunking breakdowns for TikToks already in the works. I've already got the videos downloaded. I just have to go through and work on them.
And you do all of it yourself, correct?
I do.
Wow.
I do. And I've got some of the stuff up there that I'm going to be doing recreations for what they call the pale crawler or rake videos. The girlfriend got me a rake suit, so I'm going to go out in the woods and run around wearing the rake suit to show people how that can easily be faked. I just have to make sure to tell the neighbors so they don't freaking shoot me.
Yes,
yeah, right.
You want to tell them.
A target.
Yeah. So I gotta make sure that they know that. But yeah, so I got
weirdo in the yard, get the gun.
I got that going on. I've got some recreations that I'm gonna be doing for those TikToks, and then I'm thinking maybe late October, early November, starting up season 2 of the Paranormal app test, where I'm going to go through and download and test some more applications, some of which were sent to me. And I've had other people that have made apps send them to me and ask me to test them. So I'm looking forward to all that.
It's awesome.
It's good.
When you don't go out, you could do that in the wintertime.
Yeah, because I hate the snow. I'm from Alabama. Anything below 70 degrees is cold to me.
Yeah, it's just
that's crazy. So why did you end up in New Hampshire then? Work?
Yep. Like I said, for 14 years, I supervised a McDonald's down south. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, when you go from supervising a McDonald's to getting offered to work in a company that builds bridges.
Yeah, it's not a hard place there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I spent almost 7 years running the CNC machine in the shop, and now I program the CNC machine. Now I have an office job.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Nice.
That is awesome. So guys, I shared out his YouTube channel, but where else can they find you on social media, Nate?
You can, like I said, you can find me on TikTok at Static Voices. You can find me here on YouTube at Nathaniel Elwell. I actually think my YouTube handle might be static_voices. I'm not sure on that though. But you can find me on Facebook at Nathaniel Elwell. You can find me on Instagram, but I don't use it. You can find me on Twitter, but I don't use it. So yeah. I don't.
Sounds like me.
I don't have. I'm very easy to find.
And it's easier to find the wintertime.
Yes, much easier.
Oh, Ryan said that he subbed to you so that you guys could touch base. And
oh,
awesome.
Nice.
Thank
That's
you.
Awesome.
I'll make sure to give you a sub back. I appreciate it.
Yes,
if Ryan, if you come down again, maybe the three of us could get together and do the Bridgewater. That would be interesting.
Oh,
definitely.
On my list.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if anybody doesn't have any more questions, we'll wrap things up. We'll just give it a couple of minutes. Well, thank you so much, Nate, for coming on. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties in the beginning.
look, that's just my lack of understanding what I needed to do. That's all
Yeah.
that was. But no, I appreciate you guys having me on, and thank you for being patient with the issues we were having at the beginning, and then the two
Yeah.
phone calls that I got. But
That's okay.
I don't understand why people don't get the concept. If I tell them I'm doing a podcast, right, I will call you when I'm done. Don't call me during. But
Right. Well,
but
that's
no,
I always put on do not disturb on my phone. It shuts it
I
right
have
off.
the do not disturb on for
Oh,
some
really?
reason.
That
It
went
doesn't do
through.
it.
That's weird.
Oh man, Roger's up to you as well. Thank you.
Great, guys.
Yeah,
Awesome.
put the
Thank you,
word out
guys.
there.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
But
I
no,
actually need
I
this up to you
appreciate you
too.
guys. I appreciate you guys having me on the show. There's no
Yeah,
need to
it
thank
was
me for coming on.
awesome.
Great. We learned a lot, found out a lot.
Yes. So if anybody doesn't have any more questions, we're going to wrap things up. Again, Nate, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
And Laura, do you have anything to add?
Just remember, guys, to hit that like, share, and comment. It helps out
Yes.
it helps our channels out. It's all free, and yeah, go check out Nate's channel and podcast.
Yes.
I'm sure you guys will all enjoy it, and we appreciate all of you for hanging out with us today.
Yeah. And thank you, everybody. Be positive and stay safe. And we'll see you next time.
Bye,
Have a good
everybody.
night, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nate.